Let him cook. Let him cook now.
It sounds like the life for me. It sounds like the life for me.
Alright, welcome to another episode of Music Mondays, where we talk about music that dropped within the week or within the month. Hosted by yours truly, Owandile. I go by the name of Sujeng on the streets. Humani is the plug, first of his name, and long may he reign. Alright, we're back with another video, guys. After a whole week of not recording, I had to take a break. I was feeling sick after my trip to Joburg, so I needed to take some time off and actually recuperate and re-strategize, of course, and try to see which way we can actually deliver this content and make it land the way it's supposed to. So on today's episode, because I'll make it a special additional episode because of the episode we missed last week, by mentioning albums that I would have liked to discuss, but unfortunately because of time and placing, I wasn't able to actually get to cover all of them in this segment. But the albums that I will be mentioning today, or that we will be going through today, firstly is the album dropped by Steve Lacy called Oh Yeah, and a third studio project by Sid, who used to be Steve Lacy and Sid used to be part of the internet, if you knew the internet from back in the days. And the third album is Zulu Paka's first debut, if I'm not mistaken, or EP, which is called Volume 1. Then we have Future, of course, Hendrix, who dropped The Real Me, which is his 10th studio album. Then the fifth person will be Willow Smith, which is The Thread. Then the fifth guy, which is my personal favorite album out of all the albums that I've listened to throughout the past week and a half, is Masego. Alright, so the first album that I'll be going to be reviewing tonight will be the album Masego dropped called Fix Your Face. And if you guys remember, Masego's house got burnt down when there were LA fires last year, January, I think January 27, if I'm not mistaken, but it was early Jan last year. So he's one of those artists and people that lived in LA who lost their homes. So I even forgot about it, but when this album came up with that cover, it clicked in my mind with maybe it's linking to that, or maybe it's him coming back into the music scene after him taking such a long break, because I wasn't even seeing him on features, I wasn't even seeing him anywhere. But the Kingston born singer is actually this is actually, I think it's his second if not third studio album. I'm not quite sure about that, because he also has another EP. He also has a joint. He has quite a number of music that's already out there. So please be sure to check this one out first. And yeah, we're gonna go straight into it. Alright, so this for me this album sounded like Masego was actually telling a story from the first song I actually heard when we were driving to Joburg. Sounds like the song is called Sounds Like, and it's the first song on the joint. And you know, when an album starts off with a banger as the first song, please believe that the rest of the songs are usually going to either match the energy, or sometimes it will definitely, of course, um, um, what you call disappoint you. But in this instance, I think Masego perfected his art. The time he took to come back and drop another album after the album we had with the Lady and all that other sound, I think this is a different sound. It's still the same Masego, still the same elements, still the same instruments, still the same approach, but I feel like he's more matured in this album than he was when we first came across his music. Fine, he was very playful, very cheerful, but I think after having to lose his home and or having to go through all that ordeal, it kind of changed his views, or maybe changed the way he approaches his music. I really felt connected with this project, and out of all the three projects that I've reviewed, or out of all the projects I've heard this year, this is also going up at the top of my list. I really loved it. It was a beautiful piece, I won't lie, and I'm not going to dwell too much about it. And another fun factor that I also like to mention is that Masego's name sounds like one of South Africans' name, which is Masego. So, and it was fun when we started knowing him back in 2017, when we discovered that he's actually not South African, because we had claimed him, only to find out that his parents are from the Kingston Islands. So yeah, it was very interesting for us to know that people from other worlds also do kind of have like our names, like but they pronounce it Masego, but we know it as Masego. So it was very beautiful to also figure that part out, because I've always wondered, Uti, why do we always have to fall in love with a system, Stella, say America, whereas we also have a very rich and powerful history that a lot of people could actually be clinging on to. But now I'm seeing that it did happen back when he was born. Maybe their parents liked the name or they liked how the name was spelled, then they went with it. So yeah, it was a very beautiful thing to find out that actually we have a link to that. So the songs that I favorited that were my personal favorite on this project were going to be, the first song is like I said, Sounds Like. That's the banger for sure. Go for that one. But there's a lot of there's a lot of hits on this project, I'm not gonna lie, but the ones that stood out for me, and another song was Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is also a beautiful capsulated piece. It reminds me of the song Lady Lady, but it's not the same sound, but I mean the context behind it. And then the sorry, the third song would be Hello. Not quite, I don't quite have a lot on that. It's just a good song. Then the fourth song that I really loved was also Dotted Lines. So please be sure to check out those songs. And yeah, check out Masego, guys. Masego dropped a very dope ass piece, which I think a lot of people need to get their hands on. Yeah, but maybe some people are still going to catch on as time goes. But yeah, that's all I have for that particular project for now. Right, so on the second project that I'm going to be talking about tonight is Oh Yeah by Steve Lacy, which is a very beautiful piece, I'm not going to lie. I went into listening to this project not having anything in mind, which is maybe another thing that you should try and when approaching music like Steve Lacy's sound. It is a very pop styled album, which is very something that I'm still learning to understand, that pop and R&B are two different sounds. For me, that sounded like one thing, but now I'm learning as I'm actually researching and doing more and more of these videos. So I'm also getting educated, guys, as well as I'm also sharing my thoughts and views of how I feel about certain things. So yeah, that this project for me is a very good piece. It even has a feature from Erica Badu, SZA, and as well as Steve Luss is also one of the guitarists that used to play for the internet alongside Sid and who's this guy, Tyler the Creator. So this is also something that I didn't really pay mind into understanding the music. I just listened and I liked the sound. So I'm just gonna jump straight into the songs that I liked. And yeah, the first song that I liked was called Pure Color, which is a song that features Erica Badu. Please check that song out, guys. It is a very good, it's a banger, and I know for a fact that it will, you'll be hearing it playing around the streaming platforms. So the second song I really liked on this piece was Show You Me, which is the song track 5 on the project. Please check that song out as well. Then the the third song is it? Oh well, we only have 3 on this one. So the third song is called Bebe or Bebe. I don't know how to pronounce that, but yeah, I think it says Bebe or yeah, I think they just how to pronounce Bebe in a different way. But that is also a very beautiful song. Of course, I also really like the one with SZA. But yeah, SZA is dope. I really like SZA, but I don't like the new SZA. I'm not gonna lie, but I prefer the old one. But that's just my personal opinion. So with Steve Lass's project, those are the only 3 songs I think you guys should check out, which is Pure Color, Show You Me, and baby, please don't listen to this project with the idea of trying to expect a certain sound. Just play track 1 to the last song and tell me what you'll think. Alright, so the last project that we're going to be talking about on today's episode is called The Real Me, which is by Future. So Future has been in the game for the past 10 years. Future is a GOAT. When it comes to trap music, Future is the GOAT. I must say that. Like after Juicy J, because Juicy J was one of those guys that ran the game like Future. People don't really pay attention to them because of them not being in the limelight. But a lot of artists that you'll think that are in the limelight when it comes to the trap sound take a lot of things from Future, or they look up to Future, let me put it that way. So Future has just been prominent in this game. Fine, I'm not a diehard fan. Like there's times where I wasn't listening to Future, but Future Hendrix, the album called Hendrix, and the Future album, those 2 projects will be timeless for me. And it's like the 2 Chainz album where there's like a pink burning house. That is for me that's one of the goated trap albums that I've ever heard. So this one too also, like I was listening with the intent of trying to understand Future's my mental state now, because half of the time when I listen to Future, I don't really understand where is he? Is he drunk? Is he on high? Or like the state of mind? Because it's not like when I listen to music, I like to have a background story of who the person is. Like for instance, if I'm listening to Lil Durk, I understand that Durk comes from Chicago. So they have a background of gangster, violence, killing, nan. So when you listen to the music, you piece that all up together in your mind. It plays a movie. So you get to relive the moments that they explain or maybe they talk about. But with Future, I feel like it's always been about the club and the hoes and whatnot. And for me, he didn't make music that's lasted long. Future's music doesn't last. That's my biggest take on it. That's my like something that I feel like I don't really lean towards him because of those two things. Is that, but on this one, I felt like he tried to make us understand him. Oh, and another thing that I like to pick point about Future is the approach. This is for the people that make music. I even told my little brother this thing the other day. I'm like, I like how Future doesn't care about what people think in terms of how he approaches a song. Future would do it. He doesn't care. He just understands the idea that sometimes you need to initiate something so that people can catch on to it. Like every style of rap or music that you hear now that sounds common, it wasn't common when it started. Someone had to pave the way. Someone had to um, pass the baton to the next person so that that part of music could live on. So Future is one of those people that have fought and stood the test of time when it comes to trap music. Like I thought um, trap music would probably fade off or won't last as long as it did. So I'm really proud of Future, and I'm really happy to have heard someone tell me to review this album because I wasn't going to review it. I'm more into the mellow side. But if someone suggests something, I'll definitely do take into account. And the guy's been following my page and supporting my journey for the longest of times. So I really appreciate it. Shout out for that. Then yeah, the first song I liked on Future's project was called California Girls, which is 2 minutes and 29 seconds. It's a beautiful song, simple, straight to the point. Then another one is called Wait Up, which is also another good song. Then a song that sounds like the one that I mentioned, where Future takes a detour and he just breaks the rules of making a song. He just does it the way he wishes to do it, which is something that a lot of artists need to take into account. But of course, don't make trash music and expect people to like it, because he does have something that is common, something that you're used to, and then he'll experiment with one song, which if people like it, then he'll probably do it again and again and again. So I like that about Future. He's very experimental with his sound, which is something you can never expect how the sound to go. Like the previous project, everyone was on this one, people are in another tip. So I really like how Future approaches music. So check out the song 2018. It has that's for me. That's the first song you should check out. I know you don't really like Future, then there's nothing that can change that. But I'm just saying that that's a good song. And then another song was Big Moment. Big Moment is a beautiful song as well. And then Cast a Spell. But of course, with Future songs, there is not a lot of homework that you can take. It's just listening to that song for that moment. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. But the last song on the project, oh sorry, another song that was dope was called Hollywood. I'm sorry that video got cut. My phone died, but yeah, guys, you get the gist of the Future project. It's a good 59 minutes of your time. Please do check it out, and see you on the next video. If you like my content, please do like, follow, share, and subscribe. Sorry, I have a hiccup, but yeah, we do what we have to do to get what we have to do done. I don't know if that sounded right, but yeah, take care.